What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. In my previous video, I discussed Jirard the Completionist and the controversy surrounding his foundation, the Open Hand Foundation that was discovered to be potentially fraudulent. Everything I'm going to talk about in this video is going to be conjecture, rumors, and just asking some questions. I don't know the details. Nobody does right now except Jirard and people on the team there, his family, regarding what was happening with the funds over the past decade being used at Open Hand Foundation for seemingly nothing. But there's a lot more that I wanted to add to this story, starting with this interesting video about how Jirard bought every single game on the 3DS eShop and the Nintendo Wii U eShop for preservation's sake, charging almost, according to Dextero, spent over $20,000 to make this video. Now, on the surface, as a fellow YouTuber, I know that most of YouTubers don't make that much money on a given day. I know there's the 1% of YouTubers out there that are making 20 grand a day or more and things like that. I don't believe Jirard was making that kind of money. I don't know for sure how much he was making. But now that this controversy has come up, it's raising a lot of eyebrows, bringing up a lot of questions. And the biggest one being, how did he pay for this expense? And more importantly, why would you do such a thing unless you have money given to you for free? JT. Before I go too far into this video, we're going to have to dig a little deeper into the backstory of Jirard Khalil, Jirard the Completionist, and who he's connected with YouTube and why this matters. And I know Jirard is his own person, and I don't want to hold the actions of people he's connected to against him, but we do need to take it into consideration when you look at the people he's been involved with on YouTube in the past. Everyone is their own person. True. And I'm sure Jirard is a great dude in real life. Like I said, have had a couple interactions with him and they were great. But when I look at this situation, it kind of reminds me a little bit about the controversy that happened with Pro Jirard all those years ago. Pro Jirard, somebody who is also part of the connected group that Jirard Khalil was in. That group being called Normal Boots. Interestingly enough, with Normal Boots right now, they are clinging together and forming an iron shield like the men of 300, surrounding Jirard and protecting him as best they can, fighting all these online wars on Twitter. I see Ant Dude out there fighting for him. I see Peanut Butter Gamer out there fighting for him. I see a slew of these people standing up for their guy, and it's admirable. He's your friend. I get it. I know all too well. I used to do that for someone named Tommy Tellerico, and we all know how that turned out. But I want to give a little bit of background first. Normal Boots, according to superbeardbrothers.fandom.com, goes into discussing the background of Normal Boots. Normal Boots is an online video game reviewer guild consisting of Peanut Butter Gamer, JonTron, The Completionist, Continue, and Did You Know Gaming. As is the standard with many reviewer guilds, each member would often make a cameo or guest star in each other's videos that helps them promote each other, pump each other's numbers up, get the fans of one person to subscribe to them, and they mix their audiences together and grow together. And in a way, it works very well, as I've seen with other groups getting together on YouTube. It's a fairly successful practice. I want to give a brief timeline of Normal Boots because this story is definitely getting added to the significant events that have occurred to this interesting group. In May 2017, JonTron stepped down as an active member of Normal Boots due to his commitment towards his personal show. Despite this, JonTron is still recognized as a founding member of Normal Boots. On May 9th, 2019, it was announced that Pro Jirard had been dismissed from Normal Boots due to a controversy relating to accusations of infidelity as well as the discovery of inappropriate conduct with fans, which was super sketch when you're sending nudes to fans that were of a suspicious age. That's something that has stuck with Pro Jirard for a while. He's gotten past it for the most part. It's impressive how he's kind of gotten past it and people have forgotten. It's one of those stories that when I discussed it, it blew up. It was a big deal for a good while. We're talking 2 years of YouTube infamy, dragging his channel down, losing hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of subscribers overnight. It was a wild turn of event for Pro Jirard. And before I even go on with the Pro Jirard stuff, I remember back then how Peanut Butter Gamer, who by all accounts seems like a good dude, he's commented on a couple of my videos and I've had a couple Twitter interactions with him, and seems like a good guy. He defends his friends to the end, and he is somebody that was standing up for Pro Jirard the whole way through until it became overwhelming evidence that this guy was kind of sketch. And at that point, he begrudgingly backed off from defending him. On May 12th, 2019, Satchel Drake announced his departure from Normal Boots, not wanting to be associated with Pro Jirard's controversy by remaining in the group. And then on January 17th, 2020, Continue announced their departure from Normal Boots as well. And on May 19th, 2021, it was announced that Proto John, Chad Tronic, and friend of the channel, Lady Pelvic, had joined Normal Boots. And Jirard the Completionist has been there all along, in addition to his stint defending Frosk on G4, which was cringe enough in its own right. But we need to get back to Jirard the Completionist buying every single game from the eShop. This was something that cost over $20,000 to do. Most people don't have $20,000 just laying around to throw it at an eShop and buying these games for a frivolous YouTube video. And sure, the video's got 1.3 million views, which equates to somewhere between the realm of $3,500 to $5,000, maybe $6,000. But it pales in comparison to the price of $20,000+ of buying these games in the first place. He lost money. Maybe he gained some internet fame, got those points and attention from everyone being like, wow, this guy's seriously insane. He's getting all the games. That's crazy. This is a good stand-up guy doing something right for the community, saving games, game preservation, fighting against the open seas of pirates, because apparently that's a bad thing to do for old games that aren't being resold. Whatever his rationale and whatever people wanted to justify, Jirard the Completionist spent over $20,000 on these games. Where'd he get the money? That's something nobody's been asking the entire time until now. You look at this video and now it's getting a little bit suspicious. The comments, you go through them, and everyone's pointing to this as Exhibit A of what was happening to those funds. And now I've seen a lot of people online specifically defending him, saying he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't know that the funds weren't being dispersed. He didn't spend any of the money. The tax returns show that. All right. Interestingly enough, something you guys may not know about how tax forms work, and I don't want to accuse him of doing this. I just want to say and enter in the potential possibility that something like this could have happened. And if it did, he's really screwed. When you fill out a tax form and you put the information down there and you send it to the IRS, if you're not spending anything, you can write 0 there until eternity, and no one checks, no one questions, they don't search your bank account, they don't do anything. But what happens if the money's been being donated to an account that's holding this money, and you decide to, I don't know, have an idea for a YouTube video, see the money sitting over in your account, borrow the money out of it, being like, yeah, I'll pay that money back, it's fine, we're not spending it anywhere. All the best intentions, if you can even say that, doing something like that. But even if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he wanted to pay it back, if he did take money out of the account, he wouldn't have had to write that down on the tax form, because he knows the IRS would not check his bank account. They only check if there's a handshake between where they take the money out and where they send the money to. So if they're donating it to, we'll say, St. Jude's Hospital, they take $10,000 out, say we donated $10,000 to St. Jude's, here's the code number for the filing and the check number, here's all the information, and the IRS matches that up against what St. Jude's is, and they make that handshake and everything's all good and they move on with their lives and whatever, no problem. But if you're not donating the money, if you're not handing it out to anyone else, then the money's sitting in a bank account unchecked. Meaning that these people who have access to the bank account, Ironically, Jirard and all of his family members listed on the board that was started by his father have full access to that money without anyone watching what they're doing with it. And right there is where the major concerns come in with all of this. Like, think about this logically for a second. If Jirard did siphon some money, some funds out of this charity, this foundation, for his own purposes, what would be the next logical step to do? Well, you need to replace the money that you took out of there, and you didn't make the money back with your YouTube video. You haven't made the money back. You don't have the money to replace it. The only way to get the money back is to beg for more money to be donated into the foundation. And it's kind of a circling the drain type situation when this starts to happen. And it starts to spiral out of control faster and faster as time goes along, which would explain why Jirard was asking people to donate, kept doing these charity funds, kept doing these live streams, asking for money for the foundation, because he knew he needed to replace the money that was taken out if that happened. And to be honest, I can't think of another reason why somebody would feel the need to keep promoting and pumping a charity that's growing exponentially over the past decade with more funds going into it every year without even having a place to donate the money to. Ask yourself one question. Why would somebody do that unless they had a different reason to get the money into the foundation? That's the honest, logical next thought.
It's obviously a very important cause. I could talk today, near and dear to my heart. I was 10 years old when my mom got dementia, and it's been a journey for me and my family. And so this cause is obviously very personal, and that's why we're here today. Bits, donations, subs, buy the shirt, buy the coin, buy indie games, all that stuff. All of it is going to the benefit of helping others for this charity event.
Again, I'm not accusing Jirard of doing this. I am simply introducing the prospect of that is something that could theoretically have happened. So for people that are staunchly defending Jirard, oh, he would never do anything wrong, and he didn't do anything wrong. Look at the tax forms, the money's sitting there right now. It isn't necessarily sitting there right now. You're taking his word for that. And sure, maybe he's telling the truth. But based off of how he's been acting and defending the situation and trying to back off like, oh, I didn't know that the funds weren't being spent until 2 years ago. And then I started looking for a foundation to donate it to, and I couldn't find any place to take it that I felt good about, so I just didn't do anything. All that put together, it's just a little bit suspicious.
I guess what I'm asking you guys is, what do you want me to do as soon as possible? If it's like, hey, Jirard, we want you to shut up and take the L so we can make content, that's fine. If that's what you guys think is the way to go, to call it a scam, sure. But I'm not trying to scam anyone. I would never try and scam in honor of my mom. Like, this is, I would not be outward facing knowing that I can get raked through the coals for this.
So how does Jirard find his way out of this in the court of public opinion? I mean, the first thing to do would be to show the bank account on a live stream, loading it up and going through it, because you can fudge numbers, you can put whatever you want on a piece of paper, you can Photoshop it out, but if you load up the screen, scroll through it, and blur out the images, then it's a little bit harder to do. But either way, he needs to present proof that they have this money. The best way to present that proof is to send a check somewhere and say, here's 100% of the money that we say we have, and 100% of it is going to this center here. And without doing that, there's going to be questions the entire time. I would strongly advise the tight, close friends of Jirard to back off a little bit on the hardcore defending him right now, because you gotta look like a big ass if you're wrong about it. That's the biggest concern. Trust me, like I said, I know. You need to step back. It's honorable to defend your friend. You said what you need to say. The information is out there. Now it's up to Jirard to prove that he has not stolen any money from this account, that no one on his family has taken any money from this account, that the money is still there. And then until he does that, it's kind of like you're defending someone just because you know them. You're not defending them because you know they're not lying or you know they haven't stolen the money. You're just defending them because they're your friend. One thing's for sure though, this whole normal boots group is anything but normal. There's a lot of sketchy people and activities surrounding them. And I don't want to throw everyone part of Normal Boots into that group. There are some good people that I would vouch for. Lady Pelvic is awesome. Peanut Butter Gamer seems like a good dude. But it's just curious that this kind of stuff keeps happening to people connected to Normal Boots. It's just really strange. And maybe it's because when you get big enough as a YouTuber, you feel like you're untouchable. You feel like you're above the law. You feel like nothing can happen to you because your fans will be there to defend you to the death, to the end, no matter what. And even in cases like Pro Jared's, even when you're completely found out to be a complete fraud about everything and a bunch of lies and infidelity and all these horrible things you did online, people will eventually forgive you, forget, and you already have the audience garnered, and they'll grow again, and you'll be fine in the future. Which, I don't know. It's kind of gross. It's kind of unacceptable, but it's the reality of how social media and YouTube works. Once your name is popular enough, you can't really falter. But in Jirard's case, I wouldn't worry about social media points. I'd be more worried about prison time if anything nefarious transpired here. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.
Smash, change,